My name's John from thenailschool.co.uk. A few people have asked me just to talk about acrylic brushes. Now obviously your acrylic brush is one of your most important items. I use either a size 10 or a size 12, and some people do use bigger, some people use smaller. Now a size 8 in my opinion is too small to use for acrylic nails. A size 10 I do all my sort of finer work with, but generally for just tip and overlay I would use a size 12, because you get the brush more or less does all the work for you, and that's why I prefer a bigger brush. A good brush should last you a long time. I've had this particular brush here for about 12 or 14 years, so I've really looked after it and it has lasted me a long time. It's a Acrylic brush, and what that means is that Acrylic is actually an animal, and I think it's Russian, and it has very fine hairs, and the actual tip of the hair on a Acrylic animal holds moisture quite well. The best quality brushes, you'll find that the hair's taken off the belly of the animal, and that's a very, just picks up liquids really well. It's really important, in my opinion, to buy a brush that has got a flattened ferrule. Now what we mean by that is that the ferrule is the metal part of the brush, and you'll often find that most brushes you buy have got a rounded ferrule, and it gives you a rounded brush with a point. I like to work with a brush that's got a flattened ferrule and gives you a flat shape to the brush, so that when you go onto the nail it actually does all the work for you in smoothing out the acrylic. Another couple of important things is that when you're actually using your brush on putting the acrylic on, obviously you'll brush down the acrylic and then wipe on the pad. Brush down the acrylic, wipe on the pad, brush down the acrylic and wipe on the pad. Now what can happen is, if you're too heavy-handed with your brush and you wipe on the pad, you actually bring off too much acrylic off the nail, and it ends up on the pad here. So what happens is that this pad gets very sticky, and you just keep going along the nails wiping onto that sticky surface, and you'll find that your brush will clog up with rather a sticky kind of acrylic. So every now and again you should turn your paper so that you've got a clean piece of paper to wipe onto. But if your brush gets in that like sticky kind of situation, you'll find that it won't pick up your liquid and acrylic as you want it to. So what you need to do is just get some acetone and then just refresh your brush in the top of the acetone there. Then you can just pull it straight to smooth it out, and then you can dip it into swill it out in your monomer or acrylic liquid, just to bring it back ready to use on your next pickup of acrylic. At the end of your session, after your client's gone, what you really need to do is to make sure that you swill out your brush in acetone, just pull it nice and straight, and then just leave it in an upright position so that as the acetone evaporates, the brush will be in the correct position and straightness for the next time you want to use it. Obviously never wash your brush in liquids or water. The acetone is enough just to keep it ready for the next time. If your brush is clogged up, which it does get from time to time, where you've got some old acrylic left in it which you forgot to clean it last time maybe, what you need to do is to just get your brush, get some acetone, and what you really need to do is to just place it in the container and then trap it so that the brush is not touching the bottom. That way, you know, you don't curl up the bristles. And then you would just leave it there for maybe, well, as long as it takes really to get that acrylic off. Every now and again, just take it out, just test it just to see is the acrylic free of the brush yet. If it's not, just place it back in very carefully and just trap it in the container like that, and then just keep checking it from time to time. If you've soaked your brush, which maybe had some solid acrylic lodged in it, and you have to soak the brush, make sure you soak it correctly so that it's not touching the bottom of the container. But if you do this and you forget, and then all the acetone evaporates, what you'll end up is with a brush that's got a bent end. Now, you may think that that brush is now spoilt and it's got a curly end to it. What you can do is just get some air dry top coat, soak the brush in air dry top coat, and then just pull it up like this into a nice straight line, and then as the air dry top coat sets, it will set your brush into a straight line. Now, if you leave that overnight, the next day you can swill it off in acetone and it should have come back to its shape that you had before, nice and straight. Because basically what you've done is you've re-educated the cortex of the hair to go straight, much like blow drying your hair. When you blow dry it, it takes the shape that you want it to, and the same goes here. So just use air dry top coat to straighten out your nails. If you find that the bristles of your brush are all separating when you're using it, that could be just the way that you're using the brush. For instance, if you use your brush in an upright position as you smooth out the acrylic, then your brush will separate. So you have to keep your brush nice and flat as you come off the nails. That way your brush won't separate and you'll get a nice smooth finish on the nails. But if your brush at the end of the session is all separated, then usually that means that you've got acrylic clogged up in that brush. And what you'll need to do is refresh your brush in some acetone and then just pull it nice and straight, and then next time you come to use it, all the bristles should be together again. Well, I hope you found that useful. If anybody's got any suggestions for videos or things they might like me to do, just put a comment down below and we'll see what we can do for you. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.